Hey guys. Sorry, I was just too busy admiring this this beautiful sculpture of a man with his glistening abs. Also, holy crap, this music is loud. Can't hear myself think. Oops. Sculpting the little wee wee here. Won't get too detailed since it's not that important. The personality that counts. It's not all physical, alright guys? But it has to be respectable. Can't be Has to be the right size. I've continued this from last stream, which was I think Monday or something. It's been 2 days. The trick with sculpting human anatomy is being able to visualize the bones underneath, because the bones are what give all the muscles, the fat, and the skin its shape, basically. If you know how the skeleton works and you know where all the muscles attach to, um, yeah, it goes pretty smoothly from there. Uh, this is not for Exanima or sui generis. Um, this is for my own projects. Exanima and sui generis have their own base meshes already. I sculpt armor on top of uh, the base mesh for that. kind of has a lumpy ass, doesn't he? Let's smooth that out a bit. Yeah, do some more work on the torso and then probably do the legs and then the arms last, but I kind of work everywhere, so don't really plan out things too much. Right now I'm trying to group out the major muscles, and then once I have that done, I'm going to fill in some of the creases so the muscles aren't extremely exaggerated and it looks more real. This point right here, I forgot what it's called. I gotta I gotta consult my anatomy books again. But this is very, very important. I think it's like some sort of crest. Not iliac crest. Iliac crest, I think, is on your face or something. But that's part of your hip bone right there. And it's a landmark. It's a landmark on the body. This right here is also another landmark. There's always a dimple here for everyone. Doesn't matter how strong they are, doesn't matter how fat they are, there's always a dimple right there. Well, actually, yeah. The the hip bone is actually, I think it's called the pelvic girdle, actually, uh, in anatomical terms. The pelvic girdle is like the whole piece, the hip bone, and then you have several tailbones back here, and uh, the lower spine, uh, lumbar vertebrae. You have lumbar and then thoracic, and then, oh, wait. Yeah, lumbar, thoracic, cervical. Yeah, I really need I really need to brush up on my anatomy. But yeah, the pelvic girdle is a fusion of multiple bones. That you see, guys, if you're interested in becoming a 3D modeler, this is what you get to do. You get to sculpt butts, and you get paid for sculpting butts. Really awesome job. If anyone's considering that. I mean, how awesome is it to get paid for doing this? Uh, Yeah, I usually have hands as a separate model along with the feet because I'm still really roughing in all the major forms and making sure that the proportions are correct. If I do that with the hands, this is not my model. This is someone else's model. It's a free model, free insert brush model. I believe it belongs to, yeah, it's an insert monster mesh model belonging to, what is it? Yeah, this is it. The Gon something, Gonku, but it has the artist name there. So there's a lot of artists who have made like free hands and other meshes like that. I basically just ripped off the hand model there because I'm lazy and I don't want to make one from scratch. And then after I'm done doing the body, I'll get to the hand and I'll just sculpt and adjust the hand so it fits in with the rest of the model. But I mean, yeah, I could just make my own hand mesh, but it's faster to just drag and drop it out. And shortcuts like that are always nice. Just as long as it isn't like straight up copying someone else's work and just calling it your own, of course. Hey, Azara. I'm on my way to becoming a full-time Twitch partner. 1 million subs. Here we go. Yeah, I'm just doing another sculpt. Well, no, I'm continuing the base mesh that I started last stream, which is Monday, if I recall correctly. Wait, why isn't that working? Oh, on the wrong brush, that's why. There we go. But yeah, how are you guys doing? Yeah, right? Like SG and XA they're gonna be really big games in the future. And it's best to get in now when there's like no streamers. So you can build your audience now and then you're gonna have like a bunch of people watching your streams because you're like the original. It doesn't really matter how entertaining you are. It doesn't matter. It's just like the first comment, first YouTube comment. Get all that fame, man. Actually my whole plan all along. Step 1, build armor. Step 2, build 3D armor. Step 3, uh, get hired and become a game developer. And then step 4, gain fame and notoriety as a game developer and become a full-time streamer. That's where the big bucks are. Stop using my Damien standard brush as a normal clay tubes brush. Usually doesn't end up very well. Oh my god, 12-hour stream? I couldn't do that. I'd do something embarrassing to myself within 12 hours like pick my nose or something, or get up to go pee, and then someone hears the toilet flushing in the background. I'd probably do something like that within 12 hours. And then I'd come back and see like Twitch is going crazy. Oh my god, he picked his booger, and like eat it, eat it. You know, those would be the comments you'd get on a 12-hour stream. All right. Sorry, I haven't really read comments. What do I enjoy sculpting more? I enjoy sculpting everything. Well, my main thing is armor. You know, the stuff under armor is just as, if not more, interesting from a technical standpoint. Because I mean, armor has several hundred moving parts, but humans' anatomy has so much more, so many more moving parts. It's ridiculous. Um, I do like sculpting monsters though. Monsters are really fun to sculpt. I think monsters in armor is my favorite. Between the two, probably armor, but like monsters, you can also sculpt on like organic armor or do undead creatures and all that really cool stuff. With armor, you're kind of limited. Um, uh, I mean, armor is really cool. Whoa, getting quite a love handle on this guy. Want too much fat here. So what I'm doing is I'm extending. There's a ring of fat extending from the front around the back, and this ring of fat gets larger if you eat a lot and don't exercise. So I want to put like a hint of that in, but as this is a base mesh, I don't want it to be like absurdly over the top or anything, because I am going to be sculpting armor over it. And while I could sculpt armor for a fat dude, the first project I have in mind isn't for a fat dude. So unfortunately, we can't make him ginormous. Yeah, it does look like he's wearing gloves, doesn't he? Doesn't uh kind of kind of jarring. Guess you can work on that part first. Wow. All the phone notifications. Sorry, my phone going crazy. Doesn't matter. Stream's more important. Since when did I start doing 3D modeling? I want to say like 2012, 2013. Yeah, I actually started with ZBrush, but I haven't done a lot of human anatomy. I've done a bit of study, but not a lot of actual practice, which is a shame because it's pretty necessary for making good armor. So that's part of the reason why I'm working on basemesh too, so I can make human base meshes faster and also more professional looking. Pretty important as a character artist. Uh, probably 6 years, not 8 years. I spent a lot of time building armor in real life, not so much in modeling. Yeah, I'll probably get to 8 years. Probably gonna be doing this for the rest of my life, really. It's a fun career. It's one of the only careers where you can do what you love and then also get paid decently for it. Um, very, which I think is pretty difficult to find. It's a combination that's pretty difficult to find. Yeah, I use ZBrush for armor, and then I export that to Modo, which is another 3D software. And I do the retopology in that. And for those that don't know, retopology, I think ZBrush has its own retopology tools actually. I've used them before, but I don't really use ZBrush for topology anymore. Let's see. I think it's a topology pen. Yeah, here we go. So brush. They're like a drag. Let's see if I can actually do there and then there and I do another line here. The retopology is basically converting high poly. You see all these polygons here? All these tiny ass squares. Retopology is converting that into larger squares, like you see here. But there's only 4 squares here on the orange section. And you compared that to the rest of the mesh, which is thousands, even millions of squares. So that's what retopology does. But I don't use ZBrush for retopology because I feel that Modo does it faster. It's just a better tool suited for retopology. But you can use all sorts of programs to do retopology, high poly. It's really up to personal taste and what your studio is using. Yeah, if you exported this into the game engine and then you tried playing it, it's gonna bog down your computer pretty. Well, maybe, I mean, this might be acceptable if this is the only mesh, this is the only item in your game, then you might be able to play it. But yeah. How would that prevent it from lagging in the game? Well, less squares, less polygons, the less the game engine has to process, less your graphics cards have to process. Retopology is very important. The less squares you need to display a piece of art, the better. It can be quite difficult to optimize the amount of polygons on a mesh, especially if it's a very complicated mesh. So when you're making high poly models, like what I'm doing right now, you need to keep in mind retopology and also animation. They're both very key to making 3D models that can actually work in a game. Excuse me. Late here. Yeah, that's what retopology is. It's manual processing of a high poly mesh into a low poly one. So yeah. Basically, I have to take this high poly mesh and then draw squares over it manually, and then move those points around so then it conforms to the shape of the high poly while also having enough geometry for animation, and so that actually looks like a high poly model, but without the high poly part, basically. Then what you do is what you do to transfer the high poly details onto the low poly mesh is to bake the textures onto the low poly mesh. So you'll have a baking program. For Exanima and SG, that's a piece of software that Maddock developed himself. That he wrote from scratch. For myself, as a before I joined up with BM, I was using. Well, I still do use XNormal for personal projects, and XNormal works. It works good enough. I mean, sorry, I had to itch my nose. The UI could do with a bit of an upgrade, but I mean, pretty much all I can really think of. I'm not a huge expert on textures and materials, so I don't have a lot of complaints with XNormal right now. I mean, I guess it does its job, and it's quite good uh, for a free software. But you can also bake maps in ZBrush directly, and Modo as well, I think. And those are two options that I should check out. It's always good to have multiple options, multiple software options. I like to smooth things out periodically, just so I can still get the general idea of the shapes, because that's what I'm really focused on. I'm just focused on the large elements here. Details come after. Uh, yeah, I mean, is SG still in active development? Yeah, we're when we're working on Exanima, we're also working on SG. Like like the helmets and the weapons I make for Exanima are also made for SG. And environment props, all the software and coding behind XA will be present in, for the most part, I think. I'm pretty sure Maddox's gonna code, if not all. Sometimes you can remove pieces or change it up quite a bit. It really depends on what SG needs. So get these hands sculpted, because they still look like monster hands. They don't look like normal human hands. That change the masking a sine curve. Sine. Uh, yeah. Yes, it is a very small team. But there's a lot of content. There's a lot of new content coming for the next level, and I can't show you any of that content, of course, but uh, yeah, I'm impressed with how much progress has been made in the past 9 months. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the inflate tool to take out the dimple, and then I'm smoothing it all out again, as we don't need to get this detailed for a base mesh. Although I might come back and actually sculpt in the dimple again, and then put in fingernails as separate meshes. But right now I'm just focused on making a good base mesh. Smoothing out all these very cool details, but they are details that I don't need. Uh, alien lizard guy. Um, I did work on something like wings and a tail. Check out my YouTube channel. I think I might have put one. I'll bring that up for you. Oh, the fail? Uh, yeah, I don't know, but like I post some stuff there. No Exanima stuff, just my personal stuff. The lizard skull thing. Yeah, I saw that in the level too. I'm not sure if that's like a Sur skull or something, or I think it's like the skull of a Sur. But honestly, to me, like from a realistic standpoint, it looks like a bear skull or something like that. But uh, yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I'm in the dark just like you guys. Yeah, Sur's skull is very round. I mean, if he even has a skull, who knows? Who knows the anatomy behind these dark creatures? I mean, I guess he has a skull. Oh, well, you're not gonna like the next level. I don't want to see monsters like that. But yeah, good luck out there, I guess. Yeah, it's not an easy game. I mean, it's a lot easier than Dark Souls here, but quite a difficult game if you started playing or gotten into it. Yeah, there's a point. I think it's like for me it was around uh 40 or 50 hours where I can just like consistently uh get headshots or strike wherever I want to. Like once you learn how to do it, it's you don't forget how to fight that game. Compared to Dark Souls, where you have to memorize. A lot of the fights rely on memorization of attack patterns and animation. In Exanima, as of now, all the AI behaves relatively the same. There are some variations, but there's no animation memorization. There's no timing that you need to memorize. It's all very reactive combat. And if you can learn how to react to what you see, quite easy. You can just apply that knowledge to all your fights. Yeah, Sir terrified me first time I saw him. Uh, what I did was the cheese rat. I just dropped him into the hole because there's a hole in level 3. So that's what I did. I'm a big fan of cheat games. Like whenever I start a new game, I figure out what is the most powerful way to play. What is the most powerful weapons, the most powerful characters, most powerful abilities. Usually that is a combination of magnitude, like how many enemies you can affect at the same time. So like AoE spells, and when you pair that with other damage and abilities, that's how you get good at games. Yeah, I sort of play games as if they're a job, so it's not. I guess I'm not a very fun gamer. Eventually, I learned that for Sir, you can what you can do is there is a there's a great door. There's a door where you enter, or as you enter level 3, that has a bunch of holes in it, like uh, hexagonal hexes, uh, 6, right? Hexagonal. I don't know. Look that up. Oh yeah, hexagonal. A bunch of hexagonal holes in the door. It's quite a neat honeycomb pattern. Anyway, you can get Sir on the side that doesn't open, and you stand on the other side. You can stab through the holes, kill them that way. That's what I do these days. What I think Madoc needs to do is give Sir a way to bash down doors. That would be terrifying. And then I'll have to look for a different strategy. Oh, I didn't know that. Dropping enemies in the hole doesn't kill them? Maybe it works for other enemies, but I haven't seen Sir in later levels or anywhere else after I dropped him. Straight up gone after you did that. Uh, he does that already though, right? He just like pops right out of nowhere. Well, no, wait, he doesn't do that. He usually is just standing around, but yeah, that'd be terrifying. Yeah, when I first encountered Sarah, I was like, oh no, is game I'm working on a horror game? Because I'm a big I'm a big pussy and I hate horror games. Like I can't play through this anymore. But no, luckily it's not like that. It's not jump scare scary. So not too bad. Yeah, I was actually a bit concerned there for a minute. Like I'd have to play through the game several times to understand like the aesthetics of the game, and that'd be rough. I can't imagine what the developers on like Amnesia or similar horror games had to go through. Or Souls. I think Exanima could really benefit from unique, more unique AI, like what Madoc is working on right now. Like, you know what could be really cool if Madoc ever gets a chance to do this, but uh, like allow enemies to swap their weapons when they're fighting you. Like, say for instance, you have like a sword out, like a standard short sword or something like that, and the enemy is using what is countered by a short sword? I guess maybe like a Zweihander or something. But maybe something that is quite slow, like a sledgehammer. Yeah, a sledgehammer would be countered by a short sword in real life. So if the enemy is using a sledgehammer, but if he sees you using a short sword against him, he'll swap weapons and then do like a pole hammer or something with longer range. Like, wouldn't that really suck? And that'd be terrifying. It'd make AI feel more intelligent, I think. That would really benefit the game. Just allow the enemy see what the player is doing and learn that. I think that would be a very unique thing to add. Because not a lot of games do that. If you think about it, it's usually just stand around and let you shoot or kill them. Essentially, they're no more AI than like a static block. Uh, except for maybe a few games. I can't really think of any off the top of my head at the moment. Yeah, yeah, like that. Or just imagine if like swapping weapons was a bit faster and like they swap to a different weapon while they're uh fighting as well, just to throw you off or something. I could see that happening for like master tier enemies in the arena. They'll just periodically swap weapons whenever they think uh you're winning. They'll just like swap weapons or something and try to throw you off that way. I think master opponents actually do faint already. Like they do that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna finish this up and go to sleep because I'm in Malaysia right now and it's 2 a.m. Uh, get to sleep, wrap up this got more progress on the base mesh, and that's always a good thing. Oh, sheath swords. I mean, sheath. Wow, I can't pronounce that at all. Sheath, sheath noises. Sheath noises weren't actually a thing. That's more of a Hollywood thing. When you hear like that swing sound, that's metal against metal, and you don't make a scabbard out of metal because that would dull the sword every time you take out the sword and put it back in. Uh, Sheaths or scabbards were made of leather and wood primarily, so unsheathing a sword would be a quiet action, and unfortunately we won't be having uh, either anima, just because it requires a lot of work, a lot of precise animations work to pull a sword out of a scabbard. It would be a really cool thing if it happened, but Maddox says it's not happening. So, but I mean, plans change. Like game development is always an activity that is in constant flux. So, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, like I don't want to ruin any future medieval movies for you, but if you pay attention to the sounds, uh, how long weapons are, and how they fight, because you'll see in a lot of movies that the actors aren't trying to hit the other actor; they're trying to aim for the other actor's weapon. And the more you look out for this kind of stuff, the more it'll pop out to you, and kind of drives you nuts. Yeah, I mean, there's always time in the future to add cool small features like that. Just yeah, Maddock and the rest of the team are quite bogged down creating the next level, tossing in environment assets and for all the coding and all the assets are there. Sounds sounds like the insider update is going to be quite soon. I mean, yeah, you guys hear that a lot, but I guess better than soon TM. And I don't have that long of fingers. Look at that. So like your finger is like maybe the as long as your palm. At least for me. Some people have longer fingers. Or you can probably see why I used a pre-made mesh for this because I'm making so many changes to it. The end, it's going to be completely indistinguishable from the original mesh that I used, original geometry. But yeah, I just pulled this out because it has 5 fingers and it's roughly proportional. Not perfect. I really need a human base mesh for hands, but it works in. Yeah, yeah. Oh, Philippines. Yeah, you guys are you're quite close to Malaysia, aren't you? Anyway, yeah. Good night. Keep well. Nice to have you in stream. Yeah. Wrap up here really soon. That looks weird. On optimal hand, that's for sure. Okay, I guess that's good for now. I'm tired. All right, I'm gonna wrap up stream, guys. Talk later. Got some work done. I'll probably keep working on this next stream, and I'll see you guys then.